The future is not just happening. The future is built by us, by a powerful community as you here in this room. We have the means to improve the states of the world.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
The future is built by us.
People always talk about, oh, let's help countries do better. Yeah, we should help countries do better. But a lot of the pandemic risks are in countries who in the next several decades will not have that local capacity. So you have to have global capacity. If you're serious about pandemics, you have to have global capacity that can come in and do those things. So we see that a lot.
So first off, Bill Gates talking about this notion of global capacity. It's a vague term. It really sounds more like a one world government, the ability for some sort of global power to enter into countries to make sure they aren't contributing to a pandemic happening there. And then we transition right into another one of these, globalist individuals who is smart enough to stay a little bit away from that terminology of globalism. And so this is actually the Vice Chancellor of Germany, Robert Habeck. And so you're going to hear him say that a country should not look after their own interests first, and that we need to change the rules of markets. What do you mean change the rule of the markets? So listen up to that.
First of all, I would say that we have to stick to global markets. If we are now, and this is a tendency I feel everywhere in the world, also in my country as well, also in Europe, if we are now saying, okay, first of all, Germany and other countries are caring for themselves, then we will increase the crisis. If we are only caring for our own food supply, our energy supply, it must have a disastrous effect on the prices, on the market. So first of all, we have to keep the markets open. Second, we have to see that we have to solve one problem, not on the back of another one. So if we are now increasing the production of fossil fuels and coal power plants all over the place, there's a drought in India. You mentioned it. We will definitely have more problems in the next years to come. So we have to see that climate neutrality, the big issue of the conference 2020, so 2 years ago, it seems like ages, but 2 years ago, it's not gone. So we have to solve one problem with the solutions of the other problem. And third of all, when I mentioned open markets, I like to stress out that the rules of the markets, they have to change. So the globalization, I think deglobalization is a wrong phrase. We shouldn't admit to that. We have to stick that we collaborate in one world and have some solidarity in the world, but therefore we have to change the rule of the markets as well. So these three things, I would say, give an idea where we have to heed to, and maybe this conference can also lead some ways into a more sustainable future.
Up next, we have our good friends at Pfizer.
Good Morning America is brought to you by Pfizer.
CBS Health Watch sponsored by Pfizer.
Anderson Cooper 360. Brought to you by Pfizer.
ABC News Nightline. Brought to you by Pfizer.
Making a difference. Brought to you by Pfizer.
CNN Tonight. Brought to you by Pfizer.
And so what I like best about this footage is that he's talking about an ingestible pill that is going to have a microchip in it. I mean, that is what the conspiracy theorists were saying for about 2 years, and they've made it into a reality. And if you listen closely to this rough French accent of his, you can hear him say, "Imagine the compliance."
It is basically biological chip that it is in the tablet. And once you take the tablet and dissolves into your stomach, sends a signal that you took the tablet. So imagine the applications of that, compliance. The insurance companies to know that the medicines that patients should take, they do take them. It is fascinating what happens in this field.
Following up with that, we have 7 billion vaccines that Pfizer owns that no one wants to take and there isn't a demand for. And so the US government paid for all that. And so I don't even know how much it is per vaccine, but it's $7 billion. So let's say if it was even $1 per vaccine, that's a ton of money that the US is not spending on its own people. Like, we have zero problems going on here in America right now. Am I right?
Right now, for example, there are billions of doses of our vaccine, the vaccine that was used in Europe, in the US, that it is offered to low-income countries for free. And it is offered by the US government mainly, but also by the European Union, but they're doing donations. So the US government bought for us at cost and they donated. They can't use them right now because we discovered that one thing is supply and the other thing is to have educated population that believe that vaccines is doing well.
So this is going to be the Alibaba Group president, J. Michael Evans. And so he wants to monitor your individual carbon footprint. And he wants to know where you're going, what you're eating. And is there even a desire for this? You know, there are lots of cool smartphone apps that have all kinds of technologies where you can kind of track your fitness, track your calories. I think there's a demand for that. But do I really want to know my exact carbon footprint? And then speaking of carbon footprint, Rebel News from Canada is going to go around and ask a few people here at the World Economic Forum about whether or not they're being green and friendly. Some examples of this are going to be the UN Special Envoy for Climate Action, Mark Carney. You're also going to see the World Economic Forum's head of climate, run away from that question as well when it comes to private jets. And the only person who keeps it real, straight out of India, Hardeep Singh Puri, who thinks, Klaus Schwab not really talking to the people and a little bit out of touch. So nice to see that. Good on you, India.
We're developing through technology an ability for consumers to measure their own carbon footprint. What does that mean? That's where are they traveling? How are they traveling? What are they eating? What are they consuming on the platform? So individual carbon footprint tracker. Stay tuned. We don't have it operational yet, but this is something that we're working on.
Hi, Mr. Carney. Andrew Lawton with True North in Canada.
Nice to see you. I never do spontaneous.
I understand. My one question is, can the Canadian oil and gas sector survive the net zero approach that's being promoted here?
As I said, I never do. If you want an interview with me, like everybody else, you make a request and you can have it.
And will you accept that?
Like everybody else, and I can finish. Okay.
I'm just wondering what the global emissions are for this conference. Like, does the WEF tell people to not take private jets here?
I'm sorry, guys. I'm on.
You were on a panel about oil and gas and energy this morning. Do you think phasing out of fossil fuels is actually a realistic goal?
Look, I said what I had to, but if you were to do that survey in different parts of the world, if you were to do it, for instance, in South Asia or Africa or in Latin America, you'd get results that might be a little different from the kind of results you're getting here.
So I'm going to throw this immediately out to the audience and say, how many of you are driving an electric vehicle at the moment? 1, 2, 3, 4. So I would say that probably constitutes less than 5% of the persons sitting here in this room.
I want to explain what just happened. So this is at a energy transition panel. And so even though everyone at the World Economic Forum wants to get rid of oil and wants us to be net zero and green, only 4 people in the audience have electric vehicles, probably because their respective governments pay for them to get driven around all day. So you just gotta love to see that.
We're talking about standards, metrics, indices. I want to address Elon Musk's tweet, and Brian, I'm going to get you to comment on that. Musk tweeting that ExxonMobil finds itself at the top of an ESG ranking and Tesla doesn't belong there. What's wrong with the world?
Thank you. You know, there are about 15 different credible ranking systems of companies right now. And of course, we've looked at how Unilever stacks up on all of them. And on average, we do quite well, but there are a couple where we don't do very well at all. And this is exactly the point of this conversation. You shouldn't be able to pick and choose the index that you demonstrate your credentials against. And so I think Elon can relax because there's plenty of other rating systems out there where I'm sure Tesla will come out absolutely top of the pack. And the real point is we shouldn't pick and choose rating systems. There should be a common standard that we can all use as asset owners, asset managers and companies. And that's exactly the work that Emmanuel's leading. And I think it's an important piece of work.
We are finding ourselves in a place where we have increasing polarization everywhere, and everything feels binary when it doesn't need to be. So I think we're going to have to think about a recalibration of a whole range of human rights that are playing out online, you know, from freedom of speech to the freedom to, you know, to be free from online violence, or the right of data protection to the right to child dignity.
So you just saw the Australian e-safety commissioner, Julie Inman Grant, talk about how we need to get rid of free speech. So kind of just reinforcing this notion that American values are not the values of the World Economic Forum. You know, the language she uses and the vagueness of the terms when it comes to, you know, online violence. You know, what does that mean? You know, sometimes when I watch Libs of TikTok, I feel like violence has been done to me. You know, I'm not complaining about it. I'd rather know about it than not know about it. Up next is Helen Clark, former Prime Minister of New Zealand, and she's about to go on a rant about how essentially COVID's in the past and we're losing the moment to take full control of the world, and how, you know, we need to be mean and do something to the countries that don't want to join us on this mission for one world government. So super fun stuff.
The reality is that political resolve to fight COVID is waning. Popular support for measures is waning. You know, people are over COVID. The problem is it's not done with us, but we're in danger of losing this moment for transformative change. And let's face it, people are still dying in significant numbers every day. People are still developing long COVID every day. Low-income countries are horribly under-vaccinated. We've got issues here and now. I think another reason is that the package of things that has to happen is trans-sector, and there hasn't yet been an effort to try and bring together a head of state and government level focus on the range of things that needs to be done. We said this needs a special session at the General Assembly. It needs a negotiated political declaration that brings the different threads together. We're talking not just the WHO and health ecosystem. We're talking the WTOs. We're talking the IFIs. We're talking the wide range of foundations, players in the space. And so a lot of people are doing bits and pieces, but it's not looking like a coordinated push to get transformational change.
The good people at the World Economic Forum are essentially economically illiterate. So they're going to talk about things like having a global 25% corporate tax, and that there's some countries that are lowering taxes to be competitive. So businesses want to go there. You know, going back to this notion that a country shouldn't look after its own interest. I mean, just completely psychotic. And you'll also hear the Norwegian finance CEO. She's going to talk about how we're probably going to have a lot of inflation and energy shortages, but the pain is going to be worth it for whatever they are able to achieve in the end. And then, you know, some discussion on digital currencies and what that means. Are we going to have like the World Economic Forum version of Bitcoin? I hope the hell not.
So if in Pillar 2, the percentage, the tax rate had been higher at 25%, which was actually what was recommended by groups of tax experts the world over, and actually connects with the rates in some of the economies that are participating in the deal, then 17 billion more dollars would be raised for the developing world, for least developed countries and middle-income countries, than is the case now with the 15%. So 15% is too low, and it's driven by some of the tax havens that actually are pulling down. So, you know, on the positive side, of course, it's closing loopholes on tax havens, and as you said from my quote at the beginning, that we believe that's extremely important, and that's good. But we are worried that this will be a race to the bottom, further race to the bottom in terms of corporate taxation, and countries that have higher rates might go down. And what we know from previous, critical moment experienced by the whole world in World War II, taxes were raised significantly, and corporate taxation in the US was very high, and it will kept being very high for many years, and that coincided with high growth periods. So I'm sure the Professor can speak of that in greater detail, but there's a danger that we're not really using this important tool at this moment when we have so many competing crises, and really increasing fiscal space for countries to be able to invest on the most affected populations and those that are really at the bottom.
We need to accept that there will be some pain in the process. The pace that we need will open up for missteps. It will open up for shortages on energy. It will create inflationary pressures, and maybe we need to start talking about that pain is actually worth it, because if we don't, there's no business case, there's no economy, there's no welfare. But so far, I think we have been a little bit careful actually talking about the pain in the short term that is likely to come from this very important change.
Yeah. Fast forward 5 years. Do we have a central bank digital coin out there in the world that is being utilized on a daily basis, whether it's wholesale or retail, and it becomes a superior system? Francois, yes or no?
We have several experiments which are not very far from that. Yeah. They are not yet generalized, but they could be, let's say, the next 3 years, probably. It will go quicker on the wholesale side, yes, I guess, because it raises less sensitive questions.
Yes. Axel?
No, I'm quite glad to hear what you're saying, François, on the wholesale digital currency, not coin. I am also a believer that will come in 5 years. Yes, what I try to say is obviously, we still have those huge legacy environment. They need to migrate as well, so we will not yet see all the benefits coming through, but it will come and will be much more efficient, also probably much more secure, lowering transaction costs. On the retail side, I'm much more skeptical. Certainly call it for the established economies.
It really is rules for thee and not for me. So we're going to hear Bill Gates say something. I can't even repeat what Bill Gates is about to say, because if I said that, this video would get taken down off the internet. But this is just emblematic of the elites. His level of free speech is higher than mine. And just watch it, and you will 1000% understand why this grinds my gears.
And then, as we do come up with vaccines, we want vaccines that are infection blocking and long duration, which today, the vaccines have saved millions of lives, but they don't have much in the way of duration, and they're not good at infection blocking.
Say that again.
But they don't have much in the way of duration, and they're not good at infection blocking.
World Economic Forum should distance itself from Bill Gates given his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein?
I don't really know enough to comment.
Yeah, I cannot comment. I don't know about this.
I don't know about that. Thank you. You don't know about that?
Thank you, Rebel News, for asking the people at the World Economic Forum that nice question about Jeffrey. And our last clips for today, we're going to see a quick little museum exhibit about how bad Russia is and how good the Ukraine is. And we're going to end with this kind of discussion on, does the World Economic Forum have its own police force? Fact checkers say that they don't. However, let's roll that beautiful footage.
Davos has redone the Russia House, a building historically belonging to the Russian state during the World Economic Forum's annual meetings.
This place used to be a Russian house. It was a Russian house for years on each Davos, but this year Russia is banned for Davos, and that's why we came up with the idea to organize the real representative place for Russia. And that's why we created a Russian War Crimes House.
The new building is called the Russia War Crimes House and argues that the international community should take more direct action against Russia. The inside of the house is jarring. On a 14 by 10 foot display, giant HD videos depict what seems to be maimed and dead Ukrainians and dilapidated bomb buildings. It's designed to evoke a psychological and emotional response from viewers. The Ukrainian curator of the display is hoping that the political exhibit will provoke the elite in Davos and the wider international community to send more weapons to Ukraine. A small information plaque on the back wall discloses that the organizer of the exhibit is Viktor Pinchuk. According to Forbes, Pinchuk is a Ukrainian oligarch worth $2 billion. The curators employed by the oligarch aren't your average progressive political artists. When I asked a curator if he denounced the Azov Battalion, a controversial neo-Nazi contingent of the Ukrainian military receiving U.S. taxpayer-funded weapons, he refused. Instead, he changed the subject and said that the Azov Battalion is incredibly brave and not ideological.
I think the Azov Battalion has fought incredibly brave to help Ukraine, to save the people. I think they are not an ideological movement. They are defenders of a nation.
From Davos, Switzerland, where oligarchs are using art to get weapons which will be used to fight other oligarchs, Jeremy Lafredo, Rebel News.
Well, I was just waiting for Campbell today. I don't know. I don't think so. It's pretty heavy.
Excuse me, can I ask you why you're detaining this journalist?
Can you put the phone away, please?
Can I ask you why you're detaining this journalist?
I don't answer your question.
Is it we're not able to report here?
Please put the phone away.
Okay. Can I ask you guys why
you
you're
can.
being
Can you please stop filming? Then we can talk.
Why do I need to stop filming?
Because I ask you to. It's my personal right because I don't like to be filmed, and it's a right in Switzerland. If I don't want to be filmed.
But can I ask why he's being detained then? I won't point the camera at you then. I won't film you, but I would like to know why this journalist is being detained on public property.
What's detained? Can you explain?
How come he's being surrounded right now? Is he allowed to leave the area?
We're just making a normal police control because it's WEF. Everything is very sensitive.
Is there a reason he specifically was targeted?
There is a reason because we have to have a reason to control a person.
What was the reason? What was he doing?
I don't have to tell you that. Why are you asking me that?
Because this is, he's, there's many journalists here, and I want to know why he specifically is being detained.
There is a reason, but everything is clear now, and we're about to leave in just a few seconds.
Thank you.
Okay? Could you please now, can I ask you please to delete?
I spoke to Pasovic as well, and he was pointing out the patches on the police's arm that said World Economic Forum Police.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit!
And then that entire story, many people started questioning what that meant.
So today when we were driving in, as we do every day here, we had our 360 dash cam going, basically to record the entire trip. And we actually captured on camera speaking to the police, asking them about that patch. Can I ask you something? You know the police in there that have the WEF patch?
Yeah.
Are they actually WEF police, or is it just that they're police that are wearing a patch?
No, it's just police.
Ah, so what's that patch? Just for fun?
Yeah, to be honest, yeah. I have this patch as well.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Why are you not wearing it?
Because I don't have to.
Ah, so whoever wants to wear it can wear it?
Sorry?
So whoever wants to wear it can wear it?
Not really. There are some who have to.
Oh, you have to. It's so weird, because the media today said that it's not real, that it's just...
Yeah, I know, I've seen it, yeah, but yeah.
Why are they playing dress-ups? I want to know that.
Sorry?
Why are they playing dress-ups for the WEF?
Yeah, from police tactics, and so I'm not allowed to tell you.
Oh, you're not?
Okay?
Okay.
Miss Hernandez?
Yeah.
Here you go.
Cool.
If you don't wear your WEF patch, can I have it?
No, I had to buy it.
What? Klaus Schwab didn't pay for it? You had to pay for it?
Yeah. What? Like a...
From their pay?
It's like a uniform.
It's not an official uniform for us.
Oh, okay.
So,
But some people... Alright, you're so confusing.
It's like a... souvenir.
Ah,
like
annually. But you said some of them have to wear it, and they have to wear a souvenir, and they have to pay for it.
No, we had.
You had to pay for it.
Yeah, I don't.
Because Klaus Schwab doesn't have enough money. I will talk to him for you.
Yeah, talk to him. Thank you.
See you, brother.
Bye-bye.
My experience since being here, police have been super friendly, super nice. Do you have a message for Australia?
For Australia, well, the beautiful country, and enjoy Davos.
Keep this place safe. I think there's many criminals around.
The police so far have been very friendly. I actually, except for this one, interaction I had earlier today. I was walking past and this plainclothes police officer said, "Savannah, you're famous here in Switzerland." And I said, "Oh, how do you know me?" And he said, "You lied. You said somebody was arrested." Please let me correct the record. What did I lie about?
I don't say you lie. I said, you say you're famous, and I say hello.
I never said anybody was arrested. I said that they were detained, which is completely different. Can you talk to me about what I lied about so I can correct the rest of it?
I just tell you.
And that's the issue, is that these fact checks don't even bring in the alternate angle of why Americans, or why the world especially, was so upset about these patches initially. That's important as well, because when you don't have that context, it just makes everyone look crazy, like we're just creating conspiracy theory out of nothing for no reason. But there is context, there's both sides, there's multiple angles to every single story, including this one.
I hope you liked today's video. We thought it was really important to get it out there. So share it, like it, comment, give us your thoughts. You know, whenever you share one of our videos, you are ensuring that our channel grows. You know, we deal with a lot of censorship. We deal with getting throttled. You know, we have numbers that are out the wazoo on some sites and then minuscule on others. And so we know that they're trying to prevent certain narratives from being heard. So if you enjoyed today's video, share it out, because it's like giving our channel plant fertilizer. Keeps us growing. Thank you and have a great day.
If you want freedom, take pride in your country. If you want democracy, hold on to your sovereignty. And if you want peace, love your nation. Wise leaders always put the good of their own people and their own country first. The future does not belong to globalists. The future belongs to patriots. The future belongs to sovereign and independent nations who protect their citizens, respect their neighbors, and honor the differences that make each country special and unique.